Hey guys, today we're going to do an orientation video on the Momentum fifth wheels. We're doing these videos for customers who want a refresher on the orientation they had in person, or maybe some customers can't come to an orientation. Maybe the missus can, but the mister can't. Something like that. This is also for those customers who want to look at getting into a high-end toy hauler like what we're looking at. They want to understand how to operate it or how to maintain it before they get into something. These videos are going to be tedious, they're going to be boring, repetitive, so if you want to skip through to certain parts, I'm not offended. The other problem with these videos is they often make changes halfway through the year or a quarter way through the year, so a certain appliance will become obsolete. So we're going to make these videos as accurate as they can be at the time of filming. I hope you like them. We're going to start on the outside and then work our way inside. Thanks guys. Hey guys, we're on the outside of this Momentum orientation. Let's take it slow. We'll start on the outside and work our way inside. Right up front here, you have a MORryde pin box. Some of these Momentums will not have this. Will be a standard pin box or a Rotoflex. Either way, for any of the pin boxes with Momentum, you do not have to, there's no swiveling or pivoting parts. This one just shifts front to back 3 inches, but just a standard hookup. Nothing really to talk about there. You have lights here at the front that are controlled from that switch in through there. Sorry, this switch right here. You can turn those on and off from there. Here's where our battery is. There is a battery disconnect on this trailer on the side. We're going to talk about that. But for the winter, bring your battery inside and do not store it on a concrete floor. There's obviously space there. You can put some more batteries if you want, but you got a generator on most of these Momentums, so you don't usually update or upgrade batteries that often. Red's positive, black's negative. Don't let the red lead touch the negative part of the ground of the trailer at all. Don't let those touch. Don't let it ground out at all because you'll trip some breakers or some fuses inside. Here's our generator right here. This runs off the gas tank at the back of the trailer. You turn this on or off typically from the inside of the unit, but if you need to turn on from the outside, which I can't think of why, that's your switch there to start that. There's also a prime button to prime the gas to get up here. If the generator's not working for whatever reason, it's probably one of these two 30 amp breakers are kicked. So just keep that in mind. This cover here just fits on over top of that for normal use. You can check your oil through here. There is a maintenance schedule that you need to read about in your own generator manual. Like how often you change, like how many hours you change the oil at, those kind of things. So you should read through that manual. It's an expensive piece of machine. You want to maintain it properly. So yeah, read that manual and get that maintained regularly. Awesome. One thing about this generator though is it has a transfer switch. So if you're plugged in and you turn on the generator, it's going to shut off the shore power automatically and start running off the generator. So it has that already built in there. You don't have to worry about flipping anything over. It's just back and forth like that automatically with the transfer switch. Great. I pulled out the empty propane tank and I put a used one in with propane on. So whichever tank, when you look at the regulator here, whichever tank this switch is pointing at, right there, is the tank it's drawing off of. See how that's red? That means this tank right now is empty, and that's just because I don't have the tank on. Now that I turn the propane on, this indicator should turn green like so. Now, if I were to run out of propane here, that green spot right there will turn red again, but it'll automatically start drawing off the other tank as long as you have it on. Then I can come here, flip this valve over, disconnect this tank, get it filled, bring it back. And then hook it up. When that tank goes empty, it'll turn red again, and it'll start drawing off this tank because you've gone and got it filled. Just back and forth like that. Great. Inside this cupboard door, we usually have our auto leveling either on the side here or inside a cupboard door. I've done a specific video on this, so you can go look at that video. But basically, you disconnect the truck, come here, push the auto level button, up and down, nice and easy. But just watch the video on that. Pass-through storage. Here's our convenience center, so you can do basically everything from here depending on where you have these valves pointed. So you have your city water connection, so you have your hose up through here, hooked up into here. If you want to use city water, you look at the legend here. It says city water, have your valves X way. turn the water on, you have water at your taps. You should have a pressure regulator to regulate the pressure down below 60 psi, because there's a chance that you go to a park, pressure's too high, you'll blow a line, you'll blow a faucet, so you should have a pressure regulator working on that. Now, when you go to fill your freshwater tank, what you do is you look at power fill tank, and then have the valves pointing in that way. Hook up a hose here, it's going to fill your freshwater tank for you. Now, some of these Momentums, this being a 397, has 2 freshwater tanks. So to fill your second freshwater tank, you hook up right to here and power fill into there. If you want to wash down the inside of your blackwater tank, that's what this valve is for specifically. So you're going to hook up a hose here, turn on the water, and you're going to spray down the inside of your blackwater tank. The key is with a blackwater flush, so you have your blackwater gate valve open when you do that. We're going to come down here in a second. You have an outside shower here. There's a black slinky-like hose right in there that's just going to fit in to this fitting right here, like a quick connect. And you have hot and cold come out of the trailer. Hot and cold water come out of the trailer. Just don't forget to winterize that. That's the key. You have cable in this middle one right here. Satellite in, satellite bedroom, and then satellite garage, and then satellite second bedroom again. So those are, if you have cable to site, you hook up into cable, bingo bango. If you have satellite, so you have a satellite set up at the site, you would run that into wherever you want to watch that satellite. If you have a few different lines coming off that satellite, you can hook up 2 or 3 to the bedroom, satellite living room, satellite garage, those kind of things. But you can't split satellite signal before the receiver. That's why they have designated satellite locations. Right here we have an outside receptacle. This is teed into your GFI that's inside, so if this isn't working, it's because your GFI is kicked. Down here we have low point drains, so that's for winterizing. Basically, if you want all the water to fall out of the trailer, you open up all your taps, open up these valves, and the water is going to fall out, and then you can just run the antifreeze through. On the topic of winterizing, these trailers are expensive machines. My honest opinion is to pay someone to do it and get it done for you. Get it done, pay the 70, 80, 90 bucks, whatever it costs, just have someone winterize. On the topic of winterizing though, you can do that from this location. You would go to winterize, okay? Turn this down, these valves, just follow the legend here where it says winterize with a pump. Hook up a hose here, put it into a jug of antifreeze, turn your water pump on, and it's actually going to pump antifreeze through the trailer for you. You would open up all your lines and do all that. It's still a key though that you would drain your water heater. We're going to talk about that here in a second. All right, now on to sewer. Okay, your sewer's down here. The valves are all labeled: black tank and gray tank and gray tank. Some of these Momentums will have 2 washrooms. This one does, so it'll have a secondary drain location. So basically the key here is find your drain valves, know what they are, and they're going to be labeled on the trailer. When you have sewer at the site, you can leave gray water open, but you have to leave your black water closed. If you leave the black water open, the liquids are going to run out of the tank, but the solids are going to build up, and you're going to eventually build up until you get to the toilet. So leave your black water closed, let those build up together. Once your tank's full or the weekend's over, you can close your gray waters, open your black, and it's going to flush it all at once. When you have your black water open, you hook up your line there to your Santa Flush kit and spray down the inside of the tank. If you're going to a dump station, like you don't have sewer at the site, you would leave all your valves closed, right? That makes sense. When you get to your drainage spot, you could open up a gray water and then open up the black water separately. Never have the black and the gray open at the same time. And again, the key is when you're using the flush kit, you have the black water open. Okay? So that's all that there. That's a lot of information in that location right through there. We have 50 amp service on this model, multiple ACs. If you're going to use more than one AC at the time, you have to be on 50 amps. If you're just going to use one AC, you can operate on 30 amps. If you're going to adapt down to 15 amps, which is what I have now, you cannot use an AC or the electric water heater. So 50 amp service, you can use all your ACs. 30 amp service, one AC. 15 amp service, no AC and no electric water. Furnace vent, don't touch that. Generator vent, don't touch that. We have our water heater right here. Again, don't touch this. The only reason you'd ever touch this is if you're winterizing the trailer for yourself, and you would pull out this plug to drain your water heater. That's an 1/16" socket. There's a safety switch on here for the water heater, but just leave that in the on position, and you can control that from the inside. All right. Coming down the side here, fridge vent, don't touch that. The tires, there is a rating on each tire for the PSI rating. Keep them at max. I believe on these ones it's 80, but read it on your specific unit. Keep them at max pressure. Keep the lug nuts down at 110 foot-pounds with the aluminum rims. When you get your trailer home for the first time, you will need to torque them down because it's its first couple trips, right? And you want to continue to torque them down for the first trips after that. Some of these models will have a secondary black tank. That's what that valve's for. Again, same thing. Black, when you hook up the water to the black tank flush, make sure you have your black water open. We have our fuel station here, okay? The big Momentums will have 2 tanks. So one specifically for your generator, one for the fuel station. The smaller Momentums will have 1 tank for the generator and your fuel station. So just keep that in mind. The tank further forward is for the generator. The tank further back is for the fuel station. You can turn that on and off from here, okay? Control your gauge, turn the pump on, and it just works like a standard gas nozzle. All right. There's nothing stopping you from filling both tanks up, running the one dry on the generator, and then filling that tank with your fuel nozzle further forward there. Side mount side mount roof ladder here. Basically, you pull these pins out, ladder rotates down, nice and easy that way. For our deck, we might as well run through this. Open those up to the side. They are locked, or sorry, they are lockable, so you have to make sure they're unlocked before you bring it down. This just comes down to this location. If you want to bring it down all the way so you can bring a toy in, you have to take these pins out. Pretty straightforward. For the deck itself, you just rotate this stuff around. Kick them in place. That comes across. There's a little knob here to keep that door closed. You have a switch inside to bring in or out your awning. We'll talk about that in a second. This awning though is especially susceptible to wind, so if it's windy at all, you put this awning in. The side ones are also susceptible to wind, but this one especially has less support up and down. So make sure you bring that away if it's windy at all. Lock myself in. There we go. Come down this way. Tripping hazard. You're going to have 1 key for this model. All the Momentums are keyed alike, so it's going to be 1 key for all 3 doors. Sorry, for the doors, the ramp door, and the baggage. You have a outside speakers that are controlled on the radio inside. Outside TV on some of these, they have a designated satellite line to that TV. If you just plug it into cable though, bingo bango. Stairs are nice and easy. The one problem I see with these stairs is sometimes they're set up too high so that the door is going to scrape along this stair here. So make sure you have them adjusted down enough so that the door's not going to scrape and bend your door frame. Right on. You have that outside shower hose. That same hose operates here to our outside spray port. That's just cold water. Again, don't forget to winterize that. This receptacle is attached to your GFI that's inside. So if this isn't receptacle doesn't work, it's because your GFI is kicked. This is the central vac here. There's accessories and fittings for that. There's a bag you need to change. I'll let you read the manual, figure out how to maintain that. I don't vacuum at home. Neither do I vacuum at the dealership. There's a battery disconnect here. So instead of physically disconnecting the battery, you just flip that switch. Basically, if you can take the switch, the handle out, like so, the battery is disconnected. Okay. Just the other propane tank here, but there's no valves on this one. Nice and easy. Great, I'm gonna hop in the unit and run out an awning. Right on, so we are bringing out the main awning. Sorry for the delay. I just come here to this control panel here, push extend. I'll show you that panel here in a second. But the awning comes out to about 8 feet. Basically, you keep bringing it out until the 6-inch piece of fabric is hanging down at 90 degrees. That's how you know your awning's all the way out. Basically like so. So that valve that's there hanging down, you're good to go. You can create pitch on these awnings. Basically, you push this silver knob in here up to these buttons, and then you're going to create pitch one way or the other. There is also an automatic rain dump. So the idea is, if rain builds up on the awning, it's going to compress this prop right here and drop the rain off. Still though, if it's really rainy, put the awning away. If it's windy at all, put the awning away. If the tube itself bends or hardware bends because of wind or rain, those are not warranty items. So put your awning away in a really windy situation, or put your awning away in a really rainy situation. Great, let's go. Let's have a look inside, guys. All right, guys, we've moved inside this Momentum now. So let's talk about some safety things first. First off, you have a fire extinguisher by the door. Okay, it'll always be right beside your main door. We'll have a few different detectors. We're going to have a smoke alarm right here that's on its own 9-volt battery. That's this guy right here. So if that 9-volt battery gets low, it's going to start beeping once every 30 seconds or so. And then, sorry. And then there's also a carbon monoxide detector here in the bedroom. This is running off a 9-volt battery as well, so if that battery gets low, it's going to start beeping. While we're up here in the bedroom, we can control our slides from the control panel there, but we also actually have a manual slide out switch as well. We can just bring this out. Now, with the bed slides or the wardrobe slides on the Momentum product, it's a Hvac slide. So when the slide's out all the way, it's just going to throttle down. Can't go anymore. You can't bring these slides out too far, can't bring them in too far. So that's just how that slide out works. Also up front here we have our table legs that are meant for the back garage table. So you have 3 table legs. They go into the floor, go into the bottom of the table itself, and you have a table back there. This TV here is going to run, just like all the other TVs, guys, is going to run off a cable as a standard. But then if you want to bring it over and use it for satellite, you hook up a satellite receiver into that secondary satellite spot, and then from the receiver itself into the TV. We have washer dryer prep on this model. Even if you don't use the washer dryer, you have to winterize those lines. So you have to put antifreeze down that trap and run antifreeze through those lines. If you don't, they're going to freeze and leak. Turn right into your washroom. The key here at the washroom is you have to leave water in the toilet bowl. If you just have a dry toilet bowl, the odor from the tank is going to come up into the unit. So always leave a couple of inches of water in the toilet bowl. This is the GFI I was telling you about. So your outside receptacles are attached to this GFI. So if they're not working, it's probably because this is kicked. Alright. This fan up in here is controlled from this switch right there. Pretty straightforward. The switches themselves are labeled. You can control the fan speed, open and close the vent, or you shut the fan off. These are how do you say, rain sensitive fans. So if they do sense rain on there, they should close. I have had these type of fans get stuck down, like where you try to open the fan up, but the pressure switch has kept it down. So you may have to get up on the roof and release that vent fan lid, maybe after the winter or something. On the topic of maintenance on the roof, you have to be up there checking your seals every 90 days. I'm going to do a specific video just on roof maintenance, so we'll talk about that later, but you have to be up there checking those seals every 90 days and maintaining those seals. Great. Come down here. We also have a carbon monoxide detector, and that's different in every floor plan where it is. but it's usually down near the floor. On this model, it's right here. That detector is plumbed right into the unit itself. So if the battery on the trailer gets low, that's going to be once every 30 seconds. It's one of those things that slowly draws down your battery, which is why we have that battery disconnect. If you're ever cleaning in here with some different kind of chemicals, it can set that off as well. So just keep in mind, that's a pretty sensitive little sniffer. Let's move over to our gas appliances. Before you try to let your water heater, before you try to let your fridge, your oven, anything like that, you always want to let your stove top first. And I do that by coming here, turning this knob to the flame selection. I'm here because I can hear the gas. I'm then just going to spark it. Okay. Now I know once I have my stovetop lit that I have gas to my appliances. I can go about trying to light my furnace or my fridge or anything like that. The oven is a little more difficult because you have to basically turn this knob to the flame selection, hold it in, and then light your appliance. Same kind of thing though, we're going to spark it. It's a very, very, very small gas line that goes to the pilot on the oven. So sometimes it takes a couple minutes for it to light, like it's gonna for me right now. Okay, there we go. Get down there, cameraman, have a look at that pilot. So it's about 3/4 of the way back on your right hand side. Okay, once you have the pilot lit, I'm holding in this knob. I let the thermocouple heat up for a few seconds, release it. If the pilot's still on, then I'll turn it to whatever temperature I want. There we go. Okay, now if you're going to use the oven a few times during the weekend, you can just leave it on pilot. But if you know you're only going to use it once, just turn it off. Okay. Here's our fridge. This is really straightforward on these. It's a gas electric fridge. Basically, you turn it on. You can control the temperature, 1 through 9. Okay, that's easy. Now, this button right here controls the modes. So I have 3 modes: auto, electric, gas, or auto, right? So typically people leave it on auto, and that way it will select whichever power source it has. If you have hydro, it'll run hydro. Otherwise, it'll automatically flip over to gas. But you can force it to hydro or force it to gas, depending on how you have that there. Okay, but just leave it on auto, which is the bottom. Sorry, the left one here. And if it has hydro, it'll use hydro automatically, or it'll automatically flip over to gas. Sorry if I made that more complicated than it seems to be. Cool. Now, the fuse and the breakers are right through here. So if you have an electrical issue, this is the first place you're going to come. See if a fuse is blown, see if a breaker's kicked. They're all labeled, okay? Each, and you know what a blown breaker looks like. It's just kind of kicked over like that. A blown fuse, though, there'll be a light right beside that fuse, letting you know that specific fuse is blown. They're also labeled as well. So if you have a problem with your furnace, check your furnace fuse first. Great. Alright, so to be honest with this control center, I'm less familiar with this because it's brand new. But you have a few different selections down the left here. So home is basically where you can control all of your lights. Okay. So if I want to turn off my kitchen light, I'll turn that off. That's pretty easy, right? On and off for lights is pretty basic. It'll also tell you down through here how full your tanks are. All right. With the monitor panel on these trailers, the gray and the fresh water and the battery, they're the fuel tanks. You can actually that's fairly reliable. But the black water tank is unreliable. So black 1 or black 2, sometimes you have a little bit of debris on the sensor and it'll read 2/3 full even though the tank is empty, right? So the regular ones are fairly, the gray, the fresh, and the battery are fairly reliable, but the black water is unreliable. Then there's some quick switches here on the home thing. You can turn off all your lights, or turn on all your lights right from here right away instead of going through each individual light. There's also, you can tell what the temperature is in your bedroom, garage, or your main, all on this home screen right through here. When he zoomed in, you would have seen those individual indicators there. But I do like the fact that it's all lights on, all lights off, instead of going through each individual one. Then, so on the left here it says home at the top. The next indicator down is devices. So you go to devices, come around here, get a look at this. On the right side here, you can see awning, HVAC, lighting, slides, monitor panel, leveling, or generator. I do not love when people operate their leveling from here. Okay, you're not close to the truck. You're not outside being able to watch. You should just be using your leveling from that outside switch. Generator though, pretty straightforward. Go to generator, go on or off. Right? You can play around with that. That's easy. The other indicator is HVAC, so heat and AC. You can control either your main climate zone, garage climate zone, or bedroom climate zone. Let's go main. Set your temperature. Okay. And it's going to either use your regular heat source here, gas, or prefer heat pump. So I'm going to flip the gas right now. Back to mode selection. Turn on my temperature. And then now my furnace should come on. Okay. On some of these ACs, you're going to have a heat pump on here, so you can control this to instead of prefer gas, you can prefer heat pump. Now the heat pump is less efficient than the furnace, so it may need to operate the furnace with the heat pump on there to get up to temperature. You have lighting through here, awnings. You have 4 awnings on this one: a rear awning, a side awning, a patio awning, or a main awning. The other big feature on this one control is you can download an app on your phone and control all this from your phone as well. Okay. But basically this is just going to be a bunch of pushing buttons, figuring things out for your specific trailer as you go, and then just controlling them. Like I said in the bedroom slide, there's always a manual override for the slide outs. So if this one control ever stops working for you and you're stuck at a spot and you need to bring in or out your slides, you can do so using these manual override switches down below the cabinet here and in the bedroom. All right, let's talk about the garage. So when we're operating the Hvac beds, which almost all of these Momentums are going to have, the bottom bed, or the dinette, is really what controls the top bed. So if you want to turn this into a bed, this rolls over. Nice and straightforward, right? I can adjust this up or down using the switch on the wall. I'm going to show you that in a second. But if I want to bring down this bed, I have to bring up this bed up to the top, take the pressure off the bed, release the locks on the side. We're going to do that here in a second. And then this bed will be either at this location or all the way down here to these silver bronze stops. Get a look at these, cameraman. So it'll come down to there. So yeah, basically when this bed comes up all the way, it's going to take the pressure off of this bed, and then take the pressure off. You can release that lock in there, and now this corner is freewheeling. So you would release all 4 corners, and this bed's going to come down to this bronze stop there. Okay. And then when you go to put this bed away, you're going to bring the bottom bed up, and it's going to lock it in place all the way up just like that. Nice and easy. Okay. We have a bed, a garage TV. Same kind of thing happens as your bedroom TV. You have a cable outlet and a satellite outlet. Satellite you'd have to have its own receiver back here to use that. Some of these will have a secondary washroom. Same kind of thing. Same principle applies. Again, leave water in your toilet bowl, keeping the stink down. And whenever you're draining your tank, make sure you have your valve open when you're hooked up to the black water flush. These, rear awning and secondary awning off the garage will also have their own manual switch if you need to. Okay, you can operate them off the one control or off the switch right through here. Bunch of max air fans in here. So we got one in the kitchen, so that operates the same as when I showed you in the bedroom. The TV has to be pushed all the way back for travel. Okay, otherwise it's going to be, rolling around while you're driving, which is not a good thing. Okay, so it has to be pushed all the way back. Basically, you can see what I'm saying. This knob right here has to fit into there. Now, this is the spot on the main TV where you turn on or off your TV antenna. So that's right there. So if you're running cable in from the outside, you have to have this off. Okay, the green light off. But if you're using the TV antenna, you turn this on. That's going to boost the signal for all your TVs off the TV antenna. Okay. Again, with the satellite here, if you have satellite at the site, you hook up from the satellite into your receiver, from your receiver into this cord right here, and that's going into your TV. Okay. Fireplace. We had this going because it's a little bit chilly here today. The switches are right here. Okay, on the top there is a remote you can handle this from. You can adjust different temperatures, different lighting, different temperatures, and there's a timer here as well you can go through. Okay, and then off or on. Okay. What else? Convection microwave on some of these Momentums. You have to read the manual for that. Microwave is a microwave. When you have freestanding table and chairs on these Momentums, you have to make sure you strap them down. The way they come to us from the factory is chair, and a chair flipped over on top of it, and then a strap over top. I think it's probably easier if you just strap it down to the floor itself the way they are, or if you lay them on their side facing each other and strap them down that way. But at one way or another, the chairs themselves have to be strapped down. The table's screwed in, so you don't have to over the table. The Momentums with central vac will have a dustpan. So basically, you just kick that open, sweep your stuff in, and then your attachments are here on the side. Some of the Momentums will have it, some of them will not. Great. I think that's it, guys. If you have any questions, you can email us at sales@layzeeacres.com or call us at 705-833-2539. If you liked that video, I know it was tedious and boring, but if you liked it, push the like button. If you want to subscribe, please do so. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.